We're at Hull College and we've just done a performance with JoinedUp Dance Company, which has been a triple bill. We started with This Tide of Humber, which was based on a poem by Imtiaz Dharker, and then went on to Still, which was based on a collection of poems by Simon Armitage. And then the final piece was Pas de Deux, which was created newly this year and was based on Jackie Kay's poems. I have just got involved this year for the first time. JoinedUp has been working with Contain Strong Language since 2017 when the festival started. So they had already created This Tide of Humber and Still.
They're becoming quite distinctive in that the source material is drawn from fantastic poets, well-known writers. We have a multidisciplinary way of working which is quite distinctive amongst dance companies, and we feel that we've got a body of work now that we would really like to show more frequently, because we want it to have a lifetime after Contain Strong Language.
This tide of Humber. If you come to the edge of the world, you need to be ready to throw away the part of your ticket that says return, along with the plans you made and the life you once had.
This is the first time that Imtiaz has come to see a bit of the dance piece that we're creating from her poem, This Tide of Humber, so it's really exciting for us and a bit nerve-wracking as well. The process is that we've taken sections of the poem, thought about the images that Imtiaz has created with them, and then we're working to interpret those in dance and communicate those to the audience. And then Joe, the composer, is watching the dancers and developing the music as we go along, so it's a very integrated process.
Best thing is I can hear the kind of ebb and flow and the water and the mud, and I can hear. Writing the poem itself is a very lonely activity. It happens in the middle of the night. I work alone. But then suddenly to see that poem transferred into the bodies of the dancers, the movement of the water and the mud, the movement of feet and people, all of that carried over into dance and into music was a very exciting thing.
Farmers exist as tranquil, honest souls, in rhythmic harmony with the soil, easeful among calm meadows, plentiful lakes, shaded coombes, and generous fields.
So originally it was a commissioned art exhibition, and I chose some aerial photographs of the First World War that were kept at the Imperial War Museum, and I wrote versions of Virgil's Georgics to sit on top of them. So these are quite strange poems of agriculture and the land, and I guess in combination with those photographs there's something tragically ironic about them. It was an art exhibition and a book, and then now it's having this new life, this sort of stand-up life, where it's become sort of made flesh and animated for the first time.
The wonderful thing about working on this piece of work, A, is working with Simon Armitage. You don't often get the opportunity to work with such an amazing writer. But secondly, that the source material had not only the poetry but also the visual element, the photographs. And because we work as a dance company in a very visual way, it gave us lots of material. And the other fantastic thing was that it was a very different perspective on war. So we were able to get away from things that have been explored many times before and work on the idea of what happens to the land, and that was such a rich source of material that it enabled us to do something that was really, I think, quite different. Working with Kirstie Henderson on the video, it was a really collaborative process. So once I'd explained the ideas, Kirstie was able to find the images, and then we gradually worked together to refine all of that. We use calico costumes so that the dancers are becoming as much of a canvas as the backdrop is, and the way they get absorbed into the visuals and then come out of the visuals was something that we'd really aimed for and we're really pleased to have managed to achieve in this production.
I've never seen any contemporary dance. I've never been to see contemporary dance. I don't know anything about contemporary dance, but that's exciting. I like collaborating with worlds I know nothing about, finding new narratives and new grammar.
Sam and I were brought in to replace Chloe and Mark as dancers for this side of Humber. So we spent our first week of creation and rehearsal with the company, learning the repertoire that already existed. So that was great to kind of get into our bodies the feeling of how the company moved and how the company wanted to respond to poetry. For the new Jackie Kay piece, we have been really involved in the creation. So Sophie, Sam and I have been able to offer our own personality to the piece and our own movement based on tasks that we were set by Jackie Goodman and Mark Pearce. It's kind of interesting because obviously pas de deux is normally a dance for two people, and obviously we're a trio of dancers fulfilling this. So we're quite interested in relationships as you go through life and how that changes. And Jackie, I think, was also inspired by Trumpet, one of Jackie Kay's books, looking at not just the single poem, but using outside influences from Jackie Kay's repertoire.
It's quite a unique project for me. It's my first piece as a professional from graduating, so it's been great for me, like getting to know it all and having the experience of being in rehearsals, like and being looked at as a professional as well. Just something so different, working with all the other aspects and basing the dance off a poem, being able to work with video and produce a soundtrack as a dance is made as well. So it's been great, yeah.
It's amazing to have so much input actually beyond the dance. So with the filming and the projection that we've done, certainly being involved with this process in filming on Scarborough Beach was a highlight, although it was a very early morning.
This is the first time I've done video projection and incorporated it into a dance. So yeah, it's something I would like to do in the future. Like, it's been a great experience. I'd love to do that every day if I could, so it's something I definitely want to try again.
Joe Roper, who's put the music together for us, has worked alongside us. So he came up with some ideas for some of the different sections, left us to play with them, and then came back into the studio, looked at what we'd done, responded to that. So it was again a real collaboration that this grew together rather than it being people in separate rooms doing separate things. I hadn't been to Hull before, and as much as I've loved the rehearsals at Anne Lovely Studios, I've really loved coming into town. I think I was here when Hull Street Sesh was on, and just the whole atmosphere and exploring Hull has also been amazing for me. I think I've fallen in love with the place, so that's great.